Good evening. And welcome to Division 4. It is a nice Sunday evening in the UK. Sun's out in Zandvoort, where we are tonight in the Netherlands. After a week off last week, I have returned. It is Rogue Smithy back on the commentary for Division 4. After an interesting race in Vegas, where once again it was the Vicar who came out on top, winning and extending that championship lead to 15 points now. And he actually can secure the championship tonight with one round to go after this one in Great Britain. To do so, he'd need to win. He'd need to outscore the Billy G by 11 points, to collect the championship trophy tonight. Billy G in P2 on the Drivers' Championship, 281 points. With his teammates out of the contention now of the championship as well. Readout's just coming through. Turn 3, interesting track, Zandvoort. One of the newer ones on the F1 calendar since its update, of course, was on the calendar in the 80s and the 70s, which was removed due to, I'm not even sure why it was removed, but it will be removed soon enough. In real life, I know there's a spin on the grass, goes the Haas. And easy to do around here. Especially with how close the grass is to the circuit. Next to cross the line, it will be, let's have a look. Who will it be? Doran with the fastest first sector of anyone so far. It will be actually just flicking through. Might be Silver Fox, probably is Silver Fox. So if someone does pop up, that is my mistake as he comes through. It's one of the quicker tracks on the F1 calendar, just over a minute in length. About a minute and 15 seconds is what you want to be aiming for around here. DRS open on the banking, and to the line, it's actually going to be a minute 11. So I was off by a couple seconds, and Brass Monkeys goes to P1 now ahead of Silver Fox. Readout to P3, but has, of course, the spin under his belt. The Haas of Alex Haig, not Alex Haig. It was the Haas of someone going across the line. Doran goes to provisional pole. Wakey goes ahead. Alex Haig now goes to P3 as well. Billy G, trying to keep his championship hopes alive, goes to P3 and slots in. A very good position. Not readouts. John Mobes on a lap with his teammate ahead of him. Championship leader, the Vicar, coming out of that slow, chicaney section in Sector 2. At the end of Sector 2, in the Sector 3, is the Just Banking near enough. And to the line, DRS open. ERS is used, and it's going to be P5 for the Vicar. John Mobes moves to P3 as well. And Dylan Vince moves to P3 ahead of him now. Actually, he's into the top 3 on the grid. Readout coming round that final corner now. His teammate in front. No lap set for his teammate yet. It's going to be to the line for Readout, P7. Dom in the Mercedes up to P5. He's had a decent season for him in that Mercedes. Of course, the open round in Mexico, he was very quick, just a lot of penalties, but which he has improved in the majority of this season, which you always love to see, improvement in the drivers. Just looking up and down, can't see much happening on the track. Got Mad G going for another run now in the Red Bull. The softs seem to be going for multiple runs around here, so that could indicate low tyre deg on them, which could be interesting in come the race if we see any softs get pulled out in the race, as the two Ferraris are going for more lap as well. Through Sector 1 and just coming through the end of that. It's a long couple corners here. They've got the double right straight away into a long left. onto a very short blast at the end of sector 2 into a heavy-ish braking zone right, quick left, and it opens up onto the exit for the final corners, final 2 corners. First one you need to nail, especially to get an exit down to this massive straight and a massive banking around here. And Mad G to the line. He's going to actually pit on this one. Just coming to the line. The Vicar is 0.3 up. He's going to go 3.8 up on his time. He goes to P7. John Mobes' teammate goes to P2 on the grid, just slightly behind Wakey, who's now disrupted at the top by Dylan Vince, who goes with a 10.3. Nice lap from the VCARB to set that one off. A couple of drivers will be in the pits now to get some fresh tyres on. A bit more grip. You'll need a lot of grip around this circuit. It's an easy one to lose the back end on, as we saw on the first lap by Readout, where he ended up into the grass. It's just looking up and down who is on the lap. John Mobes is coming in. Doran on an outlap. Dom on an outlap too. He's going to be first across them. Wakey is not far behind them as well. Dom. Alex Haig, I've noticed as well there. Just spotted him on a lap. Silver Fox, not just behind him at the minute. Alex Haig has had a couple podiums here and there. I believe he's had a win this season as well in the Alpine, the solo Alpine driver. In P4 in the championship, still looking to get Doran. He has 1 win and 4 podiums this season, just 1 less than Doran on both categories, and he's going to go to P8 still after that lap. Silver Fox crossed the line, slots in behind his OWR teammate there. Doran now on a lap as well, just starting it. Dom, first one through turn 3. And up the hill, the winds and beachfront of the Netherlands. Right, of course, next to the beach, through the dunes of Zandvoort. Not very nice sea either. It's the North Sea, very cold one. Wouldn't really recommend going anywhere near it, especially in the winter or in the spring. Very horrible. But we'll see as Dom comes round, using the maximum amount of curbs there to keep himself going. Out of the final corner, he's got the DRS wide open. About halfway through that corner, it's absolutely crazy. P4 for the Mercedes. Doran just following along, 3.5 tenths up at the minute. What can he pull out through this final sector? He's going up, and he's going to cross that line. It's going to go into the 1:10.1s. He's going to take provisional pole from Dylan Vince. Wakey Joe goes even faster, 1:10.0, nearly a tenth faster than Doran. There, so close this grid for a lot of the season. Pole positions have been extremely close a lot of the time. Races have not really been as close, but still been great racing all round. Mad G, Brass Monkeys and Silver Fox still on laps. Brass Monkeys through turn 9, he goes downhill. Near enough flat out, he's got a Ferrari in front of him. With the dirty air, that could affect his lap. That will be the Ferrari of John Mobes on an outlap. So easy to get onto the grass or the gravel around here. The curbs are massive, however, it is just so easy. We saw someone earlier, we were on board with Dom, I think it was, there was a lot of grass kicked up in front from the car in front. Brass Monkeys has a car just in front of me. He'll get a nice tow onto this not back straight, the final straight. Here, Silver Fox to P6 in the McLaren just ahead of Billy G, and that leaves the two championship contenders side by side on the grid so far. Brass Monkeys to the line, he's going to stay in P12, no improvement from the Haas. Doran into the pit, Dylan Vince looks to be on an in-lap or an out-lap John Mobes. Here we go, this is the interesting one to watch. Looked like a clean sector one from him there. As he comes through the double right-hander into the left now, long. You just want to get onto the power, but you can't because of that grass on the outside. Tenth up for the Ferrari. See where he can improve in this final sector. Just one sector left on this qualifying lap. He's got one more qualifying lap after this. He has time. With the short nature of the track as well, you can just fly around it, get in and out quickly. And to the line, it's going to be P4 still. Mad G as well, just set a lap 7/10 faster. He's to P7 now, just behind Silver Fox and ahead of Billy G, who's on an outlap. Speaking of a lap, here comes the Vicar, just starting one now. So far, so clean for him. It's the 10th up through turn 9, through the end of sector 1. As you head down into this fast flowing right-hander, double right-hander, and it just slows right down. Through these two corners, it just slows, and it feels like a nice little break from the fast flowing corners before. And again, it just slows right down at the end of this straight. Brilliant track design, and it's a bit wide there on the Vicar on exit though. That'll drop him a little bit of time. Purple sector 2 for him, so higher downforce possible on that one. Downforce is more necessary in that final first sector. Into the line, it's going to be P8 ahead of Billy G, who's not far behind, setting a lap now. He's not up on his time so far though. But he is now. Mad G is out the session. He doesn't think he can improve. Billy G, however, is going for a double outlap. He might. Hello to Indigo in the chat. There. And it'll be Billy G. Yes, he might be starting a double outlap here, but he's got enough time. He goes to P5 with a purple sector 3. What an improvement. 2/10 in the final two sectors. As he comes round, Doran on a lap as well. His teammate's not far ahead. He is up on his time through sector 1, looking to get pole position. He needs at least a 10th on his lap time. Not to be exact, it is about 9/400ths of a second, and there we go. A big improvement there from Doran as he comes round towards final two corners. DRS open just after the first one. This last one flat out banking. And DRS still wide open on that car. And to the line, it's going to be Doran with it 109.868. Wakey Joe's got to improve on that one. Dylan Vince is, invalidated. Just cut to it at the right time there. Or the wrong time for Dylan Vince, who is looking to get a pole position tonight. And another win under his belt after the one in Japan a couple weeks ago. John Mobes will be starting a lap soon enough. Night Creed is already on a lap in that Williams in P13. He's just coming to line. He's going to go for another one after a slow one on the last. With now just about to dip under a minute in this session now. This is going to be the final one. Doran, does he have enough time to get another lap? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have the ERS to go for another lap. So that's Doran session over. Wakey Joe's out on the track. Dylan Vince. One more charge before an all-out push. John Mobes looking for another pole position. He's got 6/10 to improve on Doran though. And again, he's just going through that slow pause, and this is where the majority of time is gained or lost in this session. How you take it. The track is getting cooler as well. Clouds are coming out 600s up through that middle sector. And through the final corner now. Does he have the time? Does he have it in his car to go for it? Dylan Vince can't improve enough. He does improve slightly on his lap time, and not enough for John Mobes either. Wakey Joe just got his lap in to start it. There we go. This will be the final lap of the session. Dylan Vince can get anything here. It's not enough through the first sector for Wakey Joe. And I think that will be the end of qualifying. So it is Doran on pole again this season, with Dylan Vince in P2. Dom is feeling unwell, according to Thomas Spillane in the chat. But a P6 in qualifying, decent row on the grid for him. But it's Doran by a decent margin on pole. Wakey Joe in P2, Dylan Vince P3, John in P4, and Billy G rounding off that top 5. Vicar in P9, however, is the big one here. How can he improve in that race? Of course, with the championship in his hands at the minute, can win it tonight. From qualifying, we look at it. Doran on pole position. Wakey Joe in P2 tonight, with Dylan Vince in P3. John Mobes P4, Bill G P5, Dom in P6, Silver Fox in P7, Mad G in P8, Vicar in P9, Alex Haig P10, Readout P11, Brass Monkeys P12, Night Creed P13, and P14 for Smooth Operator, in the Williams tonight. That's how it'll line up for Zandvoort. Could see a bit of rain, possibly. Well, we won't know until we load in the next 10 seconds for that rain. Might rain later in the race, of course, how close you are to the sea in the track. And as if by magic, it's a really dark day on the track here. It could be a later rain race. We've got, at the minute, all dry. And it'd be interesting to see who does, if it does indeed rain, who does have that skill in the wet, who does have that wet setup. Will we see a safety car possibly during the crossover period from wet to dry or dry to wet? Who sticks out, especially if it's near the end of the race? That'll be an interesting one if it does come right at the very end of the session. And we'll see when we get under the formation lap in the next 2 or 3 minutes. I'd also just like to touch on the Constructors' battle. It's just 5 points between the two. Of course, that can be won tonight as well by Aston Martin if they get a 1-2. And if the Ferraris don't finish, they need to have a 47-point gap. So at the minute, it's just 5 between the two. John Mobes in P5 for that championship. In the actual championship, Alex Haig just ahead of him by 9 points, and then just ahead by 11 points is Doran. So that battle for P3 is heating up there as Dom as well. Just in that battle, he's only 2 points behind John Mobes as well. With a couple of drivers looking to move up and down the positions in the championship as well. It'll be interesting to see as we get under the formation lap. This will be interesting who does what on the tyres. And they'll get underway. Telemetry off. And it'll be for our leader. It'll be a medium. So that could indicate rain early. Dom on the hards. So it's medium for the top 4. Softs for Willie G. That is a bold strategy for him. Dom on the hards. Silver Fox on the softs. Hards for Mad G. Mediums for the Vicar. Softs for Alex Haig, Readouts and Brass Monkeys, both on the hards, and both Williams at the back on the softs as well. You just see how hilly, no, not hilly, it's up and down this track is. The terrain, of course, forged from the sand dunes of the North Sea, just on the beach of the North Sea for the Netherlands. Not far, I'm not wrong, not too far from the border of Belgium too. A couple of hours down the road. It's not far from Amsterdam either, which, well, we don't mind Amsterdam. A lot of us, it's in the middle of a bit of nowhere though. For Zandvoort, small town, of course, with a lot of money coming in from the races. We'll have that in a couple of years, and a short formation lap comes to an end, and we'll see them all line up now. The outside for Doran into turn 1, inside for Wakey Joe. He needs to get a much better start than that Red Bull. We'll see them all come into position. We'll see the Williams just come in now. Silver Fox does get a disqualification. The other Williams of Night Creed gets one too. And it will be at Zandvoort, DRS disabled, 5 lights. And the penultimate round in Division 4 is moving in towards turn 1. Doran gets a good start. Wakey Joe gets an alright one too. Great start for Billy. He's getting caught up with the hass of John Mobes there on the inside. Looks like he's got a good one. The Vicar making contact with a good start, and there's contact just ahead of him. The Alpine and the McLaren going round. It looks like Readouts may have been involved too. Vicar up to P7 ahead of Mad G in the Red Bull. Smooth Operator up to P9. Brass Monkeys dropping down a couple as well. Readouts and Silver Fox losing a lot. Alex Haig lost a lot of positions as well. But of course, with how close they are on this opening lap, as there goes Wakey Joe very wide. He's going to have to take that escape road and come back on safely. He's got cars to his right there. One of them a Haas, and he comes back in P13. behind Readouts now, and Vicar up already a couple of positions, and he sees Billy G right in front of him on those softs. Dom in front of him on the hards with the better start by the looks of it, which is surprising considering the difference in compound they're on. Billy G coming around that final corner now. Doran still leads him on to lap 2 after a good start by him. Dylan Vince in P2 now as well after the mistake from Wakey Joe through turn 10 and 11. He went very wide, had to take the escape road and come back on safely, and that is why he's down in P13, looking to go up back to P12 and back into the top 10 soon enough. Alex Haig down a couple of positions after contact from P7, I believe it was. Good start from him, but he just made contact with the Haas of Silverfox, who of course is P14 tonight. Alex Haig to P10 now. Readout and Nightcreed still fighting as Nightcreed goes down a couple of positions there. I believe that may be an AI ghosted car. However, Wakey Joe and Readout swapping positions later down the order. I must see a bit of a switch back. It's 3 wide actually. I know one of the Williams was AI on the formation lap. Not too sure which one. It looks like Alpine on the gravel there nearly. Compared to that Haas, Wakey Joe gets away well. Readout and Nightcreed going really deep on the brakes, the pair of them, into the chicane, and that's a nice move. A defensive move from Readout there to keep the Williams behind them. Doran pulling out that DRS gap on Dylan Vince is exactly what he wanted to do. Billy G with the fastest lap of the race though. He's looking at Dom. John gets one. Dom goes for the move, gets squeezed, and that holds up Billy G. We might have a look into turn 2 and into turn 3 now. Move is available for him. Turn 4, the long different lines through this corner. Switch back there for that Aston Martin on the Mercedes. Can't get it done, and Dylan Vince slow down the straight compared to Dom, and Dom's all over the back of him into turn 9. Billy G up the inside, possibly no. Decides to back out of that one onto the grass, and the Vicar nearly makes contact with him and into the back of him through to turn 10. 11, 12, slow portion now. You may see a dive up the inside from one of these drivers. Nothing yet so far. Billy G just putting pressure with those softs. He needs to use them as much as he can. He's going to go up the inside. He's going to go around the outside. No. Feigned up and did not work into intimidating Dom. As coming out the final corner now, Billy G with the run on Dom. Does Dylan Vince have the run on John into turn 1? It'll look, here we go. Into turn 1, nothing there for either driver. Dom looking for a switch back. Billy looking for a switch back on Dom there. Nothing coming through. As you can just see through turn 9 downhill. I'm not sure on the name of it. It's probably a really Dutch name which I cannot pronounce. I won't try to pronounce due to the well, it just wouldn't be smart for me to do that. See, do we see a move here? Helicopter cam is on for the minute up the inside, around the outside. Not good enough for Billy G. Dom goes a little deep, but he corrects it through the second corner. Into turn 1, Dylan Vince and John Mobes still fighting up the inside. Goes John Mobes into turn 1. Tarzan, not a squeeze onto that grass around the outside. That could open up Dom to go up the inside, and it'll be around the outside now through this second corner, and that's a brilliant move from the Mercedes up to the podium now. And they're all running through Billy G, and the Vic is still there. Up the inside, no, nothing is doing there. Dylan Vince, Dom still about as well. moving about. Apart from that move from John Mobes, it's a bit of a quiet lap for the rest of it. Turn 1 is the majority overtaking zone for a lot of drivers. Division 3 is ongoing right now as well. Dylan Vince overtaken by Billy G. As I say that, a slight mistake on exit there could open up to that Ferrari behind him, which will be interesting to see if Dylan Vince does let that Ferrari through. Dom is looking up the inside of John Mobes into turn 1. He's going to have a look at it, not going to get it. The Vicar is looking up the inside, and there is contact between the two of them heading into turn 2, into turn 3 as well. Round the outside it'll be. The Vicar backs out of it, Vicar spins and into the wall, and he's lost that front wing, and that is a big mistake. Not a big mistake, big collision in this championship, and he's down to P10 with wing damage. Does he stay on his original strategy? Does he pit? He's now behind Wakey Joe, Smith operator, and could be under pressure from the Haas behind him as well. The Vicar. I've just noticed as well, the Vicar's still there. Smart operator is the Ghosted Williams. He is driving though, it's not an AI. Not too sure if he did disconnect or not. John Mobes and Dom still fighting for P2 and 3. And that move is done. 3 seconds up the road, Dom has to go for Doran now. Billy G and John as well there fighting, just picked on that there. John Mobes down to P4, that's in the space of about 3 corners down to P4 from P2. Oh, Billy G, very lucky to keep that in the right direction. John Mobes looking around the outside, may feel he was squeezed there. He's got Dylan Vince right behind him though again. This is going to hot up in this battle, Billy G. Those softs may be starting to die off a little bit now. We'll go through a bit of a grading phase, which of course you just need to drive as hard as you can through that grading phase to scrub it off, which I learned not too long ago. Billy G won't get DRS on Dom, so he'll be under pressure from John and Dylan Vince into turn 1. This will be interesting to see. DRS, nothing for Billy G. Into turn 1 they go. Into turn 1, no move up the inside for that Ferrari. Could not get it done. As Dylan Vince still looking behind, he's lurking for a collision between these two, and he's going to pick up those pieces. And it's just all starting to heat up again. This has looked like a very shallow angle into that corner for Billy G's. It looks like he may have picked up the pace again, may have just been an off lap for the Aston Martin. He's so close to that inside there. We'll see. DRS open down the back, smallish straight. Billy G into turn 1. He's going to have a look at that Mercedes faking up the inside, not going to get it done. John Mobes as well. Dylan Vince just behind with Wakey Joe as well. Maggi on the back with his teammates on the back of him there. Not looking too good for him. He's on a comeback drive, is Wakey Joe. And they come through the slowest section out of it now. And into this short straight, which somehow has a DRS on it. John Mobe's looking very close to the back of Billy G there. Short way through for for Billy G. I thought that was a bit of rain. It may have just been a bit of gravel coming off one of the cars, which it may have. Up the inside, goes around the outside, goes Billy G, gets that move done. And they head down towards turn 9 now, down the short-ish straight. It's crazy how windy it is. Sometimes it looked like there was a car dropping, maybe Brass Monkey, Silver Fox fighting back as well. Coming through, just a couple car lengths between all 4 of these, and it's a 4-way battle for that P2 position. Aston Martin looking for a 1-2 once again in the season, and they could be in the money tonight if they just keep it going. For now, it's about 3.5 seconds for Billy G to Doran. Doran has this race in a bit in his control at the minute. Dom's going to look around the outside though. It's going to get it done well before turn 1. John Mobe's not close enough for it though. And we'll see, does the rain come soon enough? It looks like the sun is starting to poke through those clouds. You can see the shine come onto them at the Aston Martin and the Ferrari. A couple of cars coming through. Not as bad as the sun at sector of the Americas though. That is a low hanging sun in the sunset of qualifying. It's horrible down the back straight. It's like getting blinded, well, I'd say by a million suns. It is just one sun. A little bit of a mistake there from John Mobes, which puts Dylan Vince off a little bit, who dropped some time as well. As they come through, John Mobes still there. Dom is losing time to Doran. Doran's, like I said, has this in his hands at the minute. Can't be doing much. Let's go with Dom. Just started to pull back in on Doran. Doran is, this is going to be the interesting one for Doran. Do his tyres last that long left in this race? Same for Billy G. How long do those tyres last? Dylan Vince up the inside, gets past John Mobes, who is in the gravel. You can see it coming off his car. And Mad G and Wakey Joe fighting as well, down for P7. 2 Red Bulls not wanting to collide and lose positions for those two. Vicker, about 5 seconds back from those two, 4.5 seconds. It is for them. He's got Vicker and Mad G, of course, father and son duo. I don't think they've ever been teammates in SFR. I don't think I've ever seen them as teammates, which would be interesting to see if they do end up next season or any season they are here. Just coming around these corners. Dylan Vince still there. John Mobes lost a lot of time due to that mistake. And into the pits comes Dylan Vince. Billy G and Dom still fighting there. Dylan Vince, first one into the pits, lasts less time than the 2 soft runners. 5 soft runners, sorry. Alex Haig, P5, just in the DRS of John Mobes now, who's dropped 3.5 seconds. It's dropped a lot of time. Over the curb, bouncing, you can see the rear wing going up and down due to the curb in there on the outside of turn 4. Starting to struggle a bit on those mediums maybe. Billy G looking okay on the softs however, and starting to pull a bit on his teammates who may be struggling on the mediums too. This could be a bit of a graining phase for those on the mediums to lose a bit of time, but they need to just push through it and get through it as they come into the stadium section, the right long left here, and through the right-hander of the final two corners, double right-handed. There's multiple double rights around this corner, round this track and into the pits. One of them may come. No, Billy G feigns it, and Dom takes P2 back from the Aston Martin. If I'm Billy G, I'm defending for my life through the middle sector, trying to slow a bit down to keep my teammates ahead in a brilliant position. Should be interesting to see if Doran does eventually get caught by his teammates when they do have to pit. Does Billy G go for the hards? Does he go for the softs though as well? That is the interesting one in this race. Alex Haig on the back of John Mobes now too. As we just come through here, and it's not a much. See Wakey Joe in the background there in the Red Bull with his teammates still fighting him for what would be P7 once it all figures itself out after the pit lane. And he seems like he's extending that gap over his teammates at the minute. About 7/10 between the two. Matt G on the wheel now. Still doing quite well. Operator and Brass Monkeys in P10 and 11 fighting with Dylan Vince, who gets past one of them. Does he get past the other soon enough? He needs to for his race against Doran, for his race against Billy G, for his race in general. He needs to get past. Up the inside, and he gets that move done well before the braking zone does the V-carb. As the into the pits comes Silver Fox. Dom and Billy still fighting. Dom going ghost there, may have made a mistake as that gap has dropped in the lead. Nearly a second. John Mobes dropping to them as well. He's not dropping, he's cutting the gap to them. And those two may have made a mistake, may have made a bit of contact through the downhill right-hander. Of course, being a clockwise circuit, it's always interesting to see what does happen into turn one. They will go now. It's going to be up the inside. He's giving them the inside. Has Billy G's going to go for it? No, he's not. He's going to pull back in behind the Aston Martin into turn one. Can't seem to get a move up the inside. Wakey Joe into the pits and gets a 10-second time penalty, which will destroy his race. And that is not what he wants at all. Vickett into the pits too on the hards. He will go on too. It'll be interesting to see what does indeed happen. And up the inside looking, just doesn't seem to have it as well. Now it'll be interesting. How long does Billy G stay out as well on those softs? Dom looking up the inside, no. Cuts in behind the behind Billy G. Just pull up penalties so far. No one has a penalty. No one has really done many pit stops either. Just couldn't bring it up here. Into turn one. Billy G does pit off those softs eventually. So 4.2 seconds, and that's a 10-second time penalty for Billy G. And the short pit lane has caught him out. Very fast entry, and the 10 seconds there, he's going to have to really pull out now. On John Mobes, he's going to have to really pull out in general. He's onto the mediums. This is interesting. He's got 18 laps, 19 laps it'll be, all told. Does he get it done? That is the big question here. And we'll see if he does. John Mobes has Dylan Vince just behind him now. Of course, after the pit stop, Dylan Vince tried to get an undercut didn't seem to work that well, so the undercut may not be as powerful as people think around here. He's got 10 seconds, does Billy G, of course, as well, so it's a 5-second gap from John Mobes to Billy, and he's going to have to pull that out another 5 seconds in the remaining 19 laps if he has a chance to extend, to take the championship lead back. At the minute he does. Doran into the pits now. He's going to change onto the hards, no risk in the softs like his teammate did. Alex Haig in as well. Onto the mediums he goes. Dom takes the lead on those hards now. He might be going for the softs. How long does he stay out? How long does Mad G stay out as well? He takes P2. Billy G comes out not far behind his teammates, and that is how powerful the undercut is here. But how come Dylan Vince didn't get a much of one compared? It's interesting as Alex Haig comes out the pits in front of John Mobes, and that was nearly another collision for a Ferrari in this race. And that could have been an interesting one, especially if there was contact. Easy to do as they come down the long race. Alex Haig on the mediums, he's going to be extremely quick compared to those two on those hards, and he seems like the gap is pulling a bit for Billy G. He's pulled out nearly 2 seconds in that one lap since he came out the pit lane. Alex Haig still pushing on as well to try and fight back. No move looking up the inside of that V-carb, can't get it done. So yet and a little bit of a slide on exit though. That was nearly a bad mistake for him. Don't want to be doing that too often. Billy G there with a 12.518, and that is his fastest lap of the race and the fastest lap of the race. Dylan Vince is going to get passed by Alex Haig into turn 1. He's now got 8 seconds up the road to Billy G and Doran. Doran may just think, let my teammate through here. He's got a 10-second penalty. Win might be in the bag for me. And might just try and hang on the coattails of his teammate to stay ahead of Dom as well. Dom's going for the long overcut, and the tyre offset he hopes will come to him in the later stages of the race. He's got 17 laps to go. It will be interesting to see what does happen when he does pit. He needs to pit soon enough if he is going to pit and keep into that lead battle, or he may drop too far back. He may drop behind John Mose, behind Dylan Vince and Alex Haig as well. Still leading the race and extending the lead of the race as well. And Billy G has been let by Doran. Now he's going to try and get released with Mad G in front as well. He's got to get past the Red Bull quickly. Now this will be interesting to see what does happen between these two. Doran needs to hang on for the DRS. Well, he needs to hang on as much as possible. Doesn't seem like he is so far, and he may have actually dropped out. He has dropped out, and that is the difference between mediums and hards. Mediums are so much better in the early stages. Do they eventually come through? Here's Dom into the pit lane. He's onto the mediums now with a 4-lap offset compared to Billy G, and that'll mean Mad G will take the lead of the race. Won't take the lead of the race as Billy G takes it into turn 1 before Mad G can do anything about it. And that is it, 20 laps. Well, 16 laps is the difference between the two, and Dom falls behind. Doran may fall behind Alex Haig here as well. No, he's out before it. Has to warm his tyres up though, which is easy to do. Through the first sector, he goes very squirrely through the first 10 out of the pit lane. But he keeps it pointing forward, and he will keep going on. Now the interesting one is how far back is he? He's about 7 seconds. So Billy G needs to pull out 3 to keep a P4 at the minute. Needs to pull out 2 seconds to take a podium, 3 seconds to take P2, and 8 seconds to take the win. With the penalty he picked up in the pit lane, which, well, you don't want to be doing too often. As, of course, with how small the pit lane is, it's a hard one to enter, easy to mess up. I've messed it up so many times in my career, and that's why I'm in the commentary at the minute and not racing out on track. It's through now, through turn 1 and 2. And speaking of 1 and 2, here comes Doran. He's looking to solidify that Aston Martin 1-2 on track for now. Can't seem to get it. And we'll see now, Matt G coming through. He's in P2, he's got the Aston Martin behind him. Doran is looking to take this P2 back. He's got the win in his hands here. He's got a chance to get the win, which will be his second of the year, and he's going to take that P3 back into his hands. It's a little too late, too little late to too little too late to have a championship charge on the Vicar, who's down in P10. Into the pits comes Mad G now, releasing Doran with the DRS. As Alex Haig and Dom will be fighting soon enough, and that could release Billy G with that 10-second penalty due to the mistake earlier in the race. Going through the first sector now, we'll see what does happen. He's right behind him. And this is the problem. This is a bit of a problem with Danforth. It's a really tight circuit. You can only get overtaken into turn 1, and it's from following for the rest of the lap. That is where these drivers will show their skill. We'll see what does indeed happen with this skill, and we'll see. Alex Haig looking for P3. Could be P2 on the road. It does indeed finish. And we'll get that gap up to the leader now. It'll be 6.2 seconds, and it looks like Billy G isn't going to be holding on to a win tonight, or at least a podium even, so far. Looks like just getting going, and he's dipping under 5 seconds now. Is Dom dipping under the 6 seconds? Sorry, is Dom. I seem to get it done. Doran is just there, and it seems like those two are really the closest people on track. If you have a look at it, yeah, they are. Dylan Vincent, John Mobes though as well, and they're down to turn 9 now. Maybe side by side. He's looking up the inside. Here's the V-carb now. Not seeming to be close enough for a move is Dylan Vince, but Wakey Joe not far behind on those hards as well. Fresh hards with a 10-second penalty. He's going to have to pull out a lot though, and he gets a bigger exit. Into turn 1, Wakey Joe's looking up the inside. He's going to pull out very late onto the V-carb, and the Red Bull up the inside, trying to get past the sister team. Doesn't get it to stick through turn 1. He's going to have to fight it through turn 2, and fighting him and shoving him off. And that is Red Bull up to P6 now with the 10-second penalty. He's going to have to try and force by John Mobes quickly. And that is where it will get very interesting. coming through in towards just under about 10 laps to go. What does indeed happen? It will be interesting. We'll see through turn 10 and 11. DRS wide open on that Alpine now. We'll see what does. Down in towards turn 1 now. And round the outside he'll go. And he gets that move done. No, he has to back out of it. He's going to go for a switchback possibly on that Mercedes. No. Pulls in and slots behind once again for another lap. He's got Doran just in front as well. Has Dom. He's looking for the win on track and on the podium.